Ranju, the house that follows you. Dangerous ghost horror story. The night Ranju decided to return to the abandoned road, the sky looked strangely alive. Clouds moved like dark waves, swallowing the moon again and again. It was the kind of night when silence felt heavy, almost dangerous. Years ago, when Ranju was still a schoolboy, villagers used to warn him about a house hidden deep inside the old forest. They said it was not just haunted. They said it was alive. But Ranju grew up believing fear was a weakness. Now, as a young man, curiosity dragged him back to that forbidden place. At exactly 11:48 p.m., he reached the forest path. Dry leaves cracked under his shoes like distant gunshots. A cold wind brushed past his neck, carrying a faint smell of burning wood. He kept walking. Soon he saw it. A shadow rising between dead trees. The abandoned house. It stood crooked, like a broken spine against the night sky. Windows stared like empty eyes. The iron gate swung slowly, even though there was no wind. Ranju felt a sudden pressure in his chest. Not fear, something deeper. As if the house already knew him. He pushed the gate. The metallic scream echoed endlessly. Inside the courtyard, darkness clung to every surface. The air was freezing, too freezing for summer. His flashlight flickered, then died. The silence became absolute. For a moment, Ranju thought he heard someone crying, a faint, distant sob. He followed the sound. The main door was half open. Rotten wood and mold greeted him like an old enemy. As he stepped inside, the floor trembled slightly. Dust swirled around his feet like ghostly smoke. The corridor ahead stretched unnaturally long. Doors lined both sides, all slightly open, as if inviting him in. Suddenly, bang! A door slammed shut behind him. Ranju turned quickly. No one. He forced himself to laugh. Just the wind, he whispered. But deep inside, he knew there was no wind. He continued walking. Then he saw something on the wall. Old photographs. Dozens of them. Each showing a different person standing in front of the same house. Different years, different faces. His heart stopped when he saw the last picture. It was him, standing exactly where he was now. But the photo looked old, faded, decades old. Before he could think, a whisper filled the corridor. Ranju. The voice was gentle, almost loving. He spun around. At the far end stood a woman dressed in white. Her feet did not touch the floor. Her hair moved slowly, as though underwater. Her face was blurred, like a memory trying to disappear. "Why did you leave me?" she asked. Ranju couldn't speak. His throat felt locked. The temperature dropped sharply. His breath turned into fog. Lights flickered above him, though there was no electricity. Then the walls began to move. Not metaphorically, they literally moved. The corridor twisted like a living creature. Doors opened and closed on their own. Shadows crawled across the ceiling. Ranju ran. He ran faster than he had ever run in his life. But every turn led him back to the same corridor. The same whisper. The same ghostly figure. His mind began to fracture under fear. He remembered childhood stories. Villagers who entered and came back silent. People who aged overnight. People who disappeared. The house was not trapping bodies. It was trapping souls. Suddenly, he found a staircase leading downward. Without thinking, he descended. Each step felt colder, darker. At the bottom lay a massive underground hall. Candles burned everywhere, though no one was there to light them. In the center stood a mirror. Old, cracked, covered in black stains. Ranju approached it slowly. At first, he saw only his reflection. Then the reflection smiled. He hadn't. His reflection whispered, "You never left this house, Ranju. You only dreamed you did." The candles blew out at once. Darkness exploded around him. Screams echoed from every direction. Hands, cold, invisible hands, grabbed his arms. He struggled desperately. Somehow he broke free and ran upward, crashing through doors, slipping on dust and broken glass. Finally, he saw moonlight ahead, the exit. With one last desperate leap, he burst outside and collapsed on the grass. The forest was silent again. The house stood behind him, motionless. He laughed weakly, believing he had escaped. Then he noticed something terrifying. The forest path had vanished. There was no way back, only endless fog. And far behind him, the house began to move, slowly, like a predator, following him. Even now, villagers claim that on certain nights a young man can be seen running endlessly across empty fields, chased by a shadow shaped like a house. They say his name is still whispered in the wind, Ranju. And if you ever hear your own name whispered in the dark, never answer. Because some houses do not stay in one place. They live inside the fear you carry forever.